Egypt is such a powerful, powerful place. It's very, very dear to my heart, and it is very, very dear to my soul. And the Egypt energies, frequencies, the land, the temples, the gods, the goddesses, I work with them all, and they've changed my life. They really, really have changed my life. And I'm very, very deeply connected to all of that. And I wanted to share with you today because I was looking on my YouTube channel the other day and I realized there is nothing on there about Egypt. And I thought, well, now's the time I need to share with you. It's the most powerful place. You don't have to go and put your feet on the land if it's not available to you. It's just as powerful when you work with them through meditation, activations, journeys, that kind of thing. So I'm here to tell you all about it today. So in the background here, now we know that Marie doesn't usually like strategically placed backdrops when she does videos. I have mentioned that before, but for the reasons of teaching, I thought today would be good to do a strategically placed backdrop. So we have Sekhmet, the goddess of war and destruction, but she's also a very, very powerful healer. And then right next to her, we have Anubis, who is male. He is a man's body, but he's got a jackal head. And he's many, many things. You know, he is, he's the keeper of lost souls. He also assists you when you lose yourself off the path. He'll guide you back onto it. I mean, for me personally, I work with Anubis and he's my biggest protector. And when I'm holding ceremony circles or even just doing my own meditations, he stands behind me like this. I mean, he's power AF. He doesn't say much, but he's just like this. And he's like my version of Archangel Michael, but in Egyptian. But all of these gods and goddesses have so many layers to them that they can assist you in so many different ways. And that's why I love them so much, because it depends on the person, on how you're going to work with them. And it's also when you start working with these gods and goddesses, they also let you know what they can bring to you. So it's a very individual experience, which is why I love sitting with people that also do the Egyptian work, because our experiences are sometimes very much different, and we'll have a lot of nose swapping to do because we are connected to them in different ways. So like I say, they are the gifts that keep on giving. And I was lucky enough to go to Egypt probably for the first time in 2018, January 2018. And I went there. I don't even know how I got guided there, but I just ended up like going on this trip. I kind of felt this deep call, but it just happened so quick. And then before I knew it, I was going to Egypt. It was a group of 40 people. It was quite intense. But I went there with so much expectation, and I was like, oh, right, I'm going to channel the gods. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when I got there, it's like I felt nothing. It was just really intense trip. And it was a lot of people. And I really went there with this big idea. And because I had all this expectation, I didn't really come out with anything. Anyway, it still affected me profoundly, which is what I think maybe what happened on that first trip. It activated my deep memory of me obviously being there in Egypt once before, hence why I then booked a second trip. And the second trip I went on was very, very powerful. I went into temples and had deep activations and remembering, which weren't that pleasant. It was, I went into the Great Pyramid, and that was very powerful to me. The Sphinx and the Great Pyramid is where I seem to hold a lot of memory. And when I went into the Great Pyramid, yes, and there's a few people that are going to watch this video that were probably with me at that time, I did projectile vomit when I got to the top of the pyramid. That is true. And I'm going to share that story with you another day, because that's a whole nother post on its own. But yeah, it was actually deep memory, which wasn't that pleasant. And of course, I had a good vomit in the pyramid. Not many people can say that they did that now. And yeah, so the second trip I went with no expectation, and that's when I came out with everything that I wanted, that I needed as well. And I can't even remember how I got groups together or how I started holding ceremonies with it, but then the Egypt Codes was born. Now, the Egypt Codes are groups and ceremonies, meditation group ceremonies, all sorts of gatherings that I do, all to do with this. And we work with certain gods and deities, and we bring them through into the ceremony or the meditation, and we work with their attributes. So, for example, Ma'at is very, very dear to me. And some say that she was the wife of Thoth, and you've probably heard of Thoth. And Ma'at is, she has this golden ostrich feather, and she has these beautiful outspread wings, and she looks very, very similar to Isis. Why they get her mixed up. Now, Isis will have either cow horns or a throne on her head, because why wouldn't you? But Ma'at has an ostrich feather. And she's basically the mother of all gods, as far as I'm concerned. And all the pharaohs lived by Ma'at. So did the Egyptians. And the reason they said that is because Ma'at is the goddess of law, order, balance, justice. For me, she also feels like reconciliation. She's very much like that. You can read up on her. And I mean, some people say that she did live in physical form. Some people say that she didn't. She was just a god in the skies. There's all this conflicting information, but it matters not, because the energy and the consciousness of Ma'at will really help you in your life get your shit right. Do you know what I mean? And when you live by Ma'at, you live in your highest integrity. So you can actually work with her and check stuff out going on in your life and put it, is that in alignment with Ma'at? Is there, am I being true of word? Am I speaking nice things about people? Am I living in a heart-centered open life? Open-hearted life. You use them as or you work with them as kind of like a benchmark. And they can teach you so much. So with the Egypt codes, I started to put together ceremonies, of which we work with blue lotus, which is actually grows on the side of the Nile, and sacred cacao, which for those of you that don't know is a ceremonial chocolate, and she's very powerful in her spirit, Mama Cacao. Real heart opening, heart healing. And then of course we work with the blue lotus, and we place that into the hot chocolate, and we work with it in the drink. And then we go into ceremony, and then of course we are open to receive, because you can only receive these gifts and these blessings and these activations from the Egyptian gods and goddesses if your heart is open. Because remember, we've got to be open to receive. It comes from here. So we work through journeying. So when we journey, for example, I sometimes play the drum and we bang the drum, and you'll go into a deep meditation, usually guided and channeled through me, and we'll take you to places, far away lands in Egypt, and you'll go and visit these temples, and you'll go and visit the gods, or wherever you've got to go. And you'll go and receive deep healing from that place. And you'll receive that healing, or maybe an activation of wisdom you hold within, or something unlocks, and then you bring it all the way back. And you bring it back into this lifetime, into this now time, so you can best apply this knowledge and wisdom to a shitty job you might have and you're struggling with it. Or how do I make my business more successful? How do I find my beloved? How do I use this information and guidance from these Egyptian god and goddesses in my everyday now life? So you ground it in the here and now. And that's what I mean by ancient wisdom for modern day living. You've got to bring it all the way through, because let's face it, we are all gods and goddesses walking on this earth. We've been here many, many times. And this is what this whole journey is about. As the ancient Egyptian proverb goes, know thyself. And to know thyself is to know God. You are God. So that is the ancient wisdom. Now for modern day living, we are all trying to live a very expansive spiritual life, or live in our highest frequency. That's what that is. So, the gods' information that they bring through, and all of the teachings of Egypt, is so relevant because it's timeless. It's timeless, it's so powerful in changing back then and now. So, it's about taking that time to really tap into these frequencies and energies of what we all hold within, and unlocking what you buried deep, deep down inside, but you agreed upon to unlock now. So that's the purpose of the ceremonies. And of course we can do meditation groups where we work with them. But I mean, right now I'm going through kind of almost like, for those of you that work with plant medicine, you can call it a dieta, where you just work with the plant and you just ingest the plant, and you get to know the plant like every which way but loose, and you do nothing else in a rough kind of way. That's what I'm doing with the gods and goddesses, and I'm going into a very, very long journey with them. And I'm working with a god and goddess a month. Right now I'm working with Ma'at, and I sit with her every single day, and she feeds through to me in my modern day life exactly how I can live. I can live in a more balanced and orderly way. How I can basically live with integrity, how I can live with a heart center that's open, and how I can be, and there's justice in my life. Everything is fairness, right? So it's being in alignment with the cosmic truth, and that's what Ma'at brings through. Let me tell you the breakthroughs that I have had just through month 1, sitting with her alone. And then the second month I'll work with Toth. And as you can see, working with them in that way, you will then be able to ground the wisdom that is within you, because they're helping you unlock it and apply it to your everyday life. That's the best way. So I'm very, very passionate about Egypt, because I think all of us have a strong affinity to where we were at our most powerful. And you might find some of you are South America, some of you are with the Red Indians, some of you are kind of like connected to Peru, or even Australia, the Aborigines. It matters not. We all have our prime mover, so to speak. And my prime mover is Egypt, because my lineage, my strongest lineage, and what obviously I needed to bring through in this life is there. But you might find that the Egypt work that I'm talking about does still resonate, but it's not your major backdrop. And that's okay, because we're a beautiful tapestry of so many different things. And with my work, when I work with people on one-on-ones, I work in groups, I work in ceremonies, with my work, all depending on who I'm sat with, if you come to me, we'll be like, right, okay, so today we're going to be working with the Red Indians, and we're going to be working with Crazy Horse from the Lakota tribe, or somebody else might come through and I might be working with the fairy realm, or the Druids, or the Magdalens, who are another powerful energy that I work with. And just sidebar, not many people are aware of it, but the Magdalens is a Magdalene order. It wasn't just Mary Magdalene, but the Magdalene order had men in it as well. They were the Essenes. They did all their training in the Great Pyramid and other places and other temples. And they basically did a lot of their training there. I mean, they did it in the UK and other places as well, India. But they were trained in the Isis magic and the alchemy teachings of Horus. So you see how I speak about it all crosses over. And I think when you embark on this journey with possibly the Egypt codes, maybe you come and join our groups, whatever. But when you embark on this journey, it starts to unlock layers. And over and above all of this powerful magic, it's really fun. It is. It's so much fun. It's like the best magical history lesson ever, which I never used to like at school, but now I'm all over it, But it's a very, very powerful energy, or they're very powerful energies to work with. So, and I think what I'll do is I'll start sharing my experiences with each deity as I basically work with them, and just giving you a few tidbits, a word of the day for whatever God or goddess brings through. And also as well, just to finish up on this, I'm about to launch some powerfully activated and guided meditations on my shop page on my website. So look out for that. We haven't quite launched yet, but if you do feel that you might want to just tap in and just feel what it's all about, I have channeled through some very, very powerful meditations, mostly to do with the Egypt gods and goddesses. We have Isis, we have Thoth, and I brought those through, and they are very, very powerful activations. And maybe working with those short meditations to start off with might actually bring up a stirring, let's say, of what lies within you. So you'll see that on my Facebook page, on my advertising, where when the shop comes live, and then maybe have a look at that. But other than that, watch out for the blogs, and keep your radar open for the Egypt codes. And thank you for watching and listening. And from me, and from Sekhmet and Anubis, peace.